Hello! It's Thursday, which means by the time you see this, it'll be Friday. And it's my weekly roundup. So I'm holding you for once because I've got a fair old bit of faffing about to do. So at some point you might be propped up. You might not. I don't know. So, there we go. I've got 2 finishes for you. A soon to be started, and because it's the end of the month, some bigger projects. So fairly obviously the first one, my little bucket hat, Gilligan's Island hat, call it what you will, cotton thing, hat basically. Oh, but that's made my hair, yep, my hair gone all floofy. So I think I made it a bit wide because realistically it sits on my head like that, or to tip it back it kind of goes a bit slouchy, but I've got enough to make a few more. It's cotton. I think I made it on a 4.5 hook. I really should keep better notes, shouldn't I? Excuse me. It's very polleny today. Yeah, so obviously it's mainly grey. I think it was a 4.5 hook, but I should keep better notes. Aran weight cotton yarn, Rico Rumi, or the Rico Creative yarn, grey and ice blue. So it's a bit too big, but this is going to be one I make a few more times. So I'll just experiment and see what happens. Ugh. Excuse me, itchy nose. My second finish is slightly wonky in the eye area, but it's Hedwig. This was a kit from, I think, Aldi. She's definitely come out a lot better than the Dobby of last week, so I'm quite pleased with that. And she lives just there. And I received in the mail today, and more details will come in a video that's going to come out one of my Something Special Sundays at the first weekend in June. But I've done a little bit of shenanigans with the lovely Samantha from Amethyst Craftworks. And Samantha, you have absolutely spoilt me, Miss Lady, as I'll have said in the big video, and I've said to Miss Samantha in email. But part of what she sent was this little cutie pie. So I think next week we're going to have Amigurumi the Third to show you. And I'm just going to stop briefly for an interruption from an overexcited Vicky from yesterday. I'm just going to interrupt mid whatever it was I was babbling about, or will be babbling about, maybe will be babbling, Anyway, whatever I was talking about when I decided to edit this in, which would have required me thinking about it and pausing, but anyway, yeah, I had yesterday an ingenious idea. My ingenious idea is one of those trolleys, if you've got a trolley with a hooky thing on it, and a little row counter ring doohickey. Just bear with. Look, I've attached my little row counter ring doohickey onto my trolley doodad. Isn't that crazy? You've probably already thought of something like that, but I just had to say. Anyway, back to weekly roundup me who's babbling about something. Yeah, I know. Sad, isn't it? I know, I'm so sorry, but she was a bit overexcited by that. So, big projects. Before something gets up my nose and starts itching and tickling me again. My Winging It jumper, which is inside out. Get. Okay. Doesn't want to be displayed, apparently. Not very far in. To the main body, at least. But it'll get there. This is an out and about project for when I'm at my knit group, when I'm out seeing my eldest, anytime I have to sit on a bus, and when I'm babysitting. Now I'm doing the sleeves on smaller occasions and the body when I'm babysitting. But in the last month on the body, I've done that much, so only a couple of rows. So let us move to the next completed stitch, which is over here, and just pop the little stitch marker in so that we're good to go for next month. At the end of the month. However, may not look like a lot, but, and I need a new stitch marker for this, new additions since last month, an entire sleeve. Well, not an entire sleeve, but all the sleeve that I've done thus far. So, because this is a slow and steady project, I think we'll have a sloth. This is another bit of spoiling that Miss Samantha did. So there was a packet of stitch markers, and there's this little sloth, little dude. I put them either side of my other stitch markers. This little turtle, a little teeny tiny snail, this hedgehog. Turn round. Little teeny tiny effeminate. And an alpaca. So once again, thank you, Miss Samantha. You have absolutely spoiled me. But now that stitch marker's on, so that can go back in its little bag. So what else? I've done, where are we? That much more on my Crank and Loom jumper. Can't be far away from having finished this panel now, but I don't need this finished until October sometime, so we can just chillax a bit with it. And I'm just going to rejigger that there. And then what else have we got? The Stitch and the Scream
has gone somewhere. Yeah. I can't remember if I said the other week, last week in fact. Yes, I did. I get horrendously bored with crochet alongs. I haven't got the patience for it. So I've abandoned that and just started working in assorted variegateds. I think the whole thing is going to be made out of variegated, just to play with all my variegated, because one, I love variegated yarn, and two, I enjoy repeatedly saying the word variegated. And that's some cream that can go somewhere else. Go away, go away. And it literally just fell out again. I'll try shoving it somewhere else. That'll do. So, who do I want? This feels a bit rubber ducky-ish for progress, seeing as hitherto we haven't had a progress keeper. So I'll find the front again. Wait, what? I have no idea. I don't know, you know. I had the front right in the first place. And we shall apply a rubber ducky by way of progress. And finally, and you can join me in a bit of border frogging here, the Katia Instagranny squares that I did a haul on the other week. I've started making those up in their squarey formats. I'd also started putting a bit of a brief border on the outside, but I don't really like it for a border because it was made up of the gappy bits in between the squares. So each ball has 3 granny squares made out of it, and this is where we're at so far. And as I say, I did start adding a border out of the leftover bits in between, but it's not really working for me as a border, so let's get that frogged. And because it's a bit too bitty in betweeny, so yes, if we get that frogged, then I can join it with a nice more consistent border, which, even if it's variegated or something, which I'm planning, isn't going to be as bitty. And I've had fun with this one because it took me a while to work out, even though I was using Heather's continuous join for granny squares, it's because the yarn for joining was also part of the granny square, rather than just building a border onto it. It kind of, oh, excuse me, my nose today, honestly. Yeah, it went really weird. It took me a while to work out how to get the continuous join going as I'm literally building it out of the squares. But work it out I did eventually. Took me a while. Generally getting through about a square a day. I'm on my second lot, so only another 70 odd days to go at that rate. No, I'll have more progress in a week or so, and definitely next month, because there's a few days where I'm having just big chunks of days working on one project or another. So I think that's that. Tonight, I think I'm just going to do some really basic stuff. I think I might do some more just sitting doing the, what was the Stitch and Scream? I don't know. I'll see how I feel. Yeah, but yeah, that's the roundup for this week. Bye bye.